What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Make sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. We got Spencer Pakuli here from Bounding into Comics. Spencer's a one-man army, but the showrunner for Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, he's been making the rounds. He's been trying to defend a lot of the horrible decisions he made regarding characters or lack thereof and their adaptations, poor or otherwise. And in this particular case, this article, he's talking about the changes he made to King Bumi and saying, of course, the original was a fun depiction, but, and this is his excuse for almost all his changes, it didn't work in live action. Didn't work in live action. The genocide worked in live action, but we can't depict sexism in live action. And King Bumi being a kooky figure, I guess, just didn't work. So here we go. According to the series showrunner Albert Kim, the egregious decision to change King Bumi's personality from slightly kooky to bitter curmudgeon in Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series was made because the production team felt that the Earthbender's original fun depiction didn't work in live action. Of course, we did get this scene at the very end of the episode where they ride the, for lack of a better term, the sled tram system. One of the most memorable side characters throughout the entire series, the original incarnation of King Bumi, was first introduced to fans in the animated series' 5th overall episode, The King of Omashu. Therein, from the moment they make his acquaintance, Aang, Katara, and Sokka are taken aback by his rather lax and nonsensical behavior. Where they imagine a ruler to be regal and coherent, King Bumi instead comes across as laid back and borderline insane, his mind more concerned with puns than royal affairs. Unfortunately for the team, this pseudo-insanity soon turns out to be more dangerous than amusing, as upon the discovery that Aang is the Avatar, Bumi immediately calls for him to be subjected by force, as he threatens to encase Katara and Sokka in crystals should he not comply to a series of trials to prove his worth as the legendary hero. And of course, however, Aang's completion of the final trial, a trial by combat against the royal himself, and yes, it's very surprising when you're watching and he throws off his, he's not old and he's all jacked, throws off his cloak. King Bumi not only reveals himself to be one of his childhood friends, himself having aged in real time while the airbender was stuck in the ice, but also that everything from his crazy behavior to his trials were nothing more than a game meant to both playfully and lovingly mess with his friend's head, while simultaneously preparing him for the forthcoming challenges he'll have to face in his role as the Avatar. So, first of all, it's pretty fun messing with people. The Earth Kingdom Royal ultimately explains of his prank, but I do have a reason. Aang, you have a difficult task ahead. The world has changed in the 100 years that you've been gone. It's the duty of the Avatar to restore balance to the world by defeating Fire Lord Ozai. You have much to learn. You must master the 4 elements and confront the Fire Lord. And when you do, I hope you will think like a mad genius. And it looks like you're in good hands, too. You'll need your friends to help you defeat the Fire Nation. And you'll need Momo, too. So he thinks he's bad the whole time. And then, of course, he reveals that he was doing it all for a reason. But unsurprisingly, and this is where the key disconnect in how they're choosing to do things. Remember, they were aiming towards a Game of Thrones audience. But unsurprisingly, in Netflix's version of the story, Bumi's characterization is much, much different. In the live-action series, not only does Bumi, as portrayed by actor Utkarsh Ambudkar, Jesus Christ, immediately reveal his true identity to Aang upon their first reunion, but rather than his angry curmudgeon behavior being part of a playful facade, it is actually his real personality, with the king having grown bitter towards his old friend after his disappearance left the Fire Nation near unopposed in their plans for world domination. So, yes, he does. And further, instead of still retaining his childhood spirit for adventure and pranks, this version of Bumi instead takes to chastising Aang for holding on to his sense of wonder. It's all about games with you, isn't it, Avatar? Yeah, he totally chastises a child, essentially. It's, you know, in stark contrast to the above quote from his animated counterpart. At one point during Aang's final combat trial, the king angrily informs him, "In this world, you can't rely on anyone, not even your friends." Great message. However, after emerging victorious in the trial, thanks to their help, Aang informs Bumi, "You can rely on your friends, and that's the only way I'm going to save the world, with my friends." And then, like, he convinces him, and he's sort of blah, blah, blah. To top it all off, Aang's lesson is ultimately met with further condescension from Bumi, who declares in turn, "You think like a child." And while the original story, so the end result of this is actually, this just goes to prove that the fans know it better than the actual showrunner. If you scroll down here to the top comment, if we ever get there, there we go. Top comment there. They again missed the point of the characters. Bumi is wise in the animation. Nuts, but still wise. In the animation, I imagine his negative feelings towards Aang as a child, but as he grew older and wiser, he clearly came to understand Aang's perspective more and figured out that it makes no sense to be angry at a child, because remember, Aang is fucking 12. The weird thing is these Netflix numpties probably think they've made Bumi a more mature character by making him less goofy, but they've done the opposite. They have made him more childish. As in 100 years, he hasn't moved on from his resentment. Boom. Thank you. Yes, and that is what they often do. They think they're making it better. In fact, they are regressing the characters and making them worse. And stop, dear God, using that fucking excuse that it was a kid's show. That is a horrible excuse. Plenty of kids show that appeal to both adults and children alike. Saying it's a kid's show does not excuse lazy or regressive writing when it was already done better in said kid's show. That's it. That's it. That's the article. That's the thing. I really just read that to get to the end of that point, that all of this was done because they thought they were making it better. No, you just made it lesser, like you did with the majority of the characters. And that's it. Let me know what you think of this. Like, share, sub. If you've done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And well,
bye.